Yo, yo, yo. Happy Thursday. Welcome, everybody, to Non Fungible Alpha, where we give you all the beta in the
Oh,
world.
GM, here we are. I got logged out of this account. Let me log back in. All right, I can't log.
Tagline League stream.
Notions have been acting up. I'm not gonna have my notes on my phone. It's gonna be a stream for sure. Yo, Jeremy, happy Thursday. How we doing?
We're doing well, man. It's
Yeah.
been, I wouldn't say a slow week, but it's more simmer than the last 2 weeks. That's
Sure.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, just trying to play around in like, okay, what do I think is kind of cheap at the moment that I could see a little pump in the next month? What do I think is overpriced at the moment, so that way I can get rid of those bags
Right.
just on the way down. But I was using Floor, the Floor app, and I
Yeah.
just see like over the week, my portfolio is up 9%. Yeah, it's almost
Oh.
10%. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that's a lot. That's pretty good. Things are looking up, and like you said, it's been kind of. It feels like it's been a pretty slow like NFT news week, but it looks like market sentiment is a little bit better. Prices like they've at least like stabilized a little bit. We're not seeing as much bleeding out, and really a lot of the top projects, if anything, they're kind of rising in the last 5-6 days or so. That's definitely been good to see. So thanks everybody for tuning in to this is Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. This is our usual time for our NFA weekly recap. Let's see who's in the chat. We've got Totally coming in, Von Schiller. We got Q Dog, Coffee, and some more people coming in soon, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at the floors for the market and see how we're looking. And like we'd like to start, we're gonna switch to 7 days because we haven't done a recap since last Thursday, since our new format. So let's look at what's changed since we last streamed and talked about the NFT news.
Yeah.
Let's look at let's start positive. I feel like I'm in a positive mood. Let's look at the positive changes. And let's do what we did last week. I like adding a minimum floor price, so we can kind of filter through the mud a little bit, as we as we say.
Right.
What do you think's a good min? Like 0.5, 0.25, 0.3?
0.5.
Okay.
If you're not at 0.5, then
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of projects you just offended right there, but hey, that's fine. All right, let's look at 0.5. The top gainers. We've got Bean, Sappy Seals, Moonbirds, Vox, CPG, Pop. They are up quite a bit. Look at there's a lot of noticeable projects up here that have really had some good movement over the last week. Anything out of these stick out to you? I know a lot of these increases. We're probably going to talk about some news items that happened over the week that kind of affected this. But before we get into any of that, what sticks out to you just from looking at this list?
So oddities, they were kind of on an up and down type of thing ever since their town hall, whatever you want to call it, parliament, blah blah blah. So that's kind of where they were at like last week. So there's nothing really surprising there. On the day, sure. But the thing is, Goblin Town, they've made a little bit of a comeback. They were trending super downwards.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of days, they've been picking up. I know they had the announcement either like yesterday or today. Something that we'll get into a little later.
Yep.
Let's see. Moonbirds are up. They went down to what, 12 ETH or so?
Yeah, Moonbirds, that was one thing. They were down to like
Number
12
15
ETH
there.
at their floor, and now they're up to, I believe, close to 15 and a half.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it is around the positivity, but around the grails from this week. There's been a lot of attention thrown their way, just from the team itself, not necessarily the project Moonbirds itself, but mainly the team, and that's kind of like the main access point to get to proof is through Moonbirds right now.
Then the other one on the timeline that I've been seeing like a lot in the last month, and I've just ignored it, was freaking Sappy Seals, bro.
Yo,
They've been
arf.
they've been on my timeline like everywhere, and I don't know. I've never went to their OpenSea or to their gem or anything. I've never even had the idea about buying a Sappy Seal, but I kind of wish that I did, like at some point, even just to flip,
Hey.
a day or two.
Just send it right now. What are you waiting for?
They're ripping, dude.
I mean, she'll ask a good question. What have they done besides having a good Twitter game? Because they do have a good Twitter game. I mean, that is like one of their main things, that they're always on there.
It's just the community,
Oh, there we go. that community word.
No, obviously Pudgy Penguin's been going crazy in the last month, so that's nothing surprising right there.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. It is a little shocking to see JTV Jenkins of Valet up 20%, but still under the ETH floor because they held that ETH floor super strong.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of offers on my Jenkins, like my stand and my tickets lately. There's a lot of attention. I think we're getting closer to some things happening with Azurbula, and I think there's some excitement building around that ecosystem that I'm looking forward to getting into. Let's go ahead and look at let's look at the opposite. Let's see who's down bad over this last week in that threshold. And CyberKong's, man, 16, and this is Genesis CyberKong, so I believe their floor is that right? Is their floor 17 ETH for a Genesis CyberKong?
That is correct. That is correct. They were down bad.
Do you remember? I mean, I can't remember the last time I talked about CyberKongs, but do you remember whenever they used to be like a 200 ETH floor? Whenever banana token was insane. People were always saying like, "Oh man, I'm making six figures a year based off banana token."
We're gonna retire off of bananas.
How's that working out? I mean,
don't know.
That's why I always laughed at the posts whenever you'd see the thread of like, I'm making this much per year based off this token, and it's like it's been 1 week. Like, you're only making that much if it stays that price for the whole year. Like, give it some time, give it more than a week. So
Cool Cats had that thing too.
Yeah, POW, Punks. There's the Creeps one as well. I remember a big thread on that one. This is just a lot of those token ones where it's like, it was pretty obvious, like it's not sustainable. It's not gonna hold up. So CyberKong's the big loser for the week. They're down 30%. Psychedelics Anonymous, they are down 22%, down to 0.6. We're gonna get into psychedelics. I've got some, because there's a reason why they're down this bad. Because of a certain project that a sister project they've released this week. Yeah. We're gonna get into that. Probably not be too. I'm not gonna be too nice because I know it's Thursday, but I'm feeling like it's FUD Friday, and we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, it's Friday somewhere. Australia, it's Friday already.
Hey, there we go. Australia, if you're listening, it's FUD Friday. Cool Cats, they're continuing to go down. There was a little bit of hope there for a bit, but nope. Maybe they'll have their day. But outside of that, I think over the top projects we are seeing more positive than negative, which is good to see. All right, let's go ahead and hop into our first segment, or our first news item for the day. And we've got some merch, I guess, a little expensive merch. Maybe this is it comes in size whale, but we've got. I think this is from. Is this by G Money, right?
Yeah, this is by G or advised direct. No, it's just directed by. Directed by G Money. Aversano's included, styled by Rasmussen. So there's lots of big names in this. And if we go to the website, the shirt, it's a black shirt, and it is for it's a black shirt for 0.3 ETH. Oh God.
All right. I mean, hey, you're the merch guy. I need you to sell me on. I need you to sell me on this shirt for 0.3 ETH.
Well, let me tell you. What do you have on right now?
I've got my Ape Fest. Actually, I've got my Eminem, my Eminem Snoop Dogg shirt.
Mm-hmm. But it's not a black shirt, and it doesn't have a rubber tag that's integrated with a chip, and it didn't cost 0.3 ETH. So, I mean,
I'm sold. I wish I could buy these, but unfortunately, they are sold out. So I guess there was a market there. So they are sold out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they released this shirt for 0.3 ETH. It has, as you can see, it has like this tag in there, and it's I guess you're able to claim an NFT through your phone, which I think is ironic. This is like this new technology. Which, Schiller, you're in the chat. We've seen this before. Now, where have we seen a chip inside of a shirt that you could claim an NFT through? We saw that in NYC, and we got a free shirt from Pixel Vault, and it had that technology in there. I didn't have to pay 0.3 ETH for that technology. I got that one for free. So this one is 0.3. I'm not a buyer in it. I mean, do you have any thoughts about this shirt, or is this something that you were you interested in it? 'Cause I think you were the ones that kind of added this to it. You kept track of it a little bit, and what are your thoughts on it?
I did. I watched it. I was maybe interested in it if they just go to the dirt. I thought about picking up one or two.
Yeah.
Just to follow along with the project. Like G Money, he is like a bit creative. I don't know if I want to say innovative, right? But he's definitely creative, and I think the more that I looked into the project, I think they needed to make it more obvious. But this kind of acts as a Genesis pass. So like once you have this, then you're kind of almost like allow listed in a way for the next phases or the drops of the project. But there's plenty of projects that do that out there, and especially with merch already. So the only thing that makes this different is kind of the team behind it and their elevated status, right? Justin Eversano, G Money, yada yada. So the shirt itself, I think, is dope, but I probably would have went a different way with the drop, because on the surface it looks like you are telling me a black shirt with some type of NFC tag for 0.3 ETH. And that just doesn't get the full message across.
That's what it looks like. Like if you look at the website for just as a usual consumer shopper, you're looking at it for 30 seconds. I don't get much out of it outside of it being an expensive T-shirt, but obviously there is more to it. It's like that Fidgy world, like the physical and digital kind of combining and everything. It's gonna have future utility, and it looks like the floor. I mean, it's at 0.41 right now, so it's holding up for it being sold out at 0.3.
And then the other thing that I would probably FUD about it again is just having the like hard or like the size, right? That part of the size being a part of the metadata,
right?
Because that messes up with secondary as well. I mean, it does put a little bit into like a game theory in it. Do I think large is going to be worth more than small? Yada yada. But that shouldn't be a part of your project. Like that should not be a thing. Like if it's going to be merch, like let it just be an access pass. Let it be a Genesis thing.
Yeah.
And as you redeem that shirt, then you can choose your size in that checkout process. But there's no reason why that should be a whole separate NFT with like that separate metadata of the tag of the size.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We've talked about that before, having that separate or having that some kind of way where it's like it's only, I don't know, like whenever you claim it for the physical, then you pick your size, and not having it part as the actual NFT itself.
Schiller says, is there a market for premium clothing for more expensive spenders? I mean, yeah, and I think that's why like you have brands like Gucci and Louis and whatever else. Those are the only two I can think of because I'm broke. But yeah, there is a more premium, or there is a market for premium clothing. I think there does exist a market in this space too, like Web3 personas, influencers and everybody else, like Spotty. But no, I just don't think
my mind doesn't go to Spotty whenever I think of high value clothing, but I get it.
No, for sure. But I don't know if it's as big as people would think.
Yeah.
Like in the general world, totally. In the Web3 space, I don't know if there's a big enough market to keep that sustained right now.
All right, let's move on. We've got the talk of NFT Twitter that early in the week that kind of took over was over this one image.
Pudgy.
This Pudgy Penguin sold for 400 ETH a few days ago. I mean, what a steal. I mean, free, am I right?
Free.
Yeah, so this penguin sold for 400 ETH. Huge sale. The community went crazy. A pump ensued, or like a pump followed it, and Pudgy's pumped to like, I think 4.5 ETH floor. They've come down since then. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this 400 ETH purchase? I'm not going to tell a man how to spend their money, but we can speculate, right? We can at least speculate a little bit.
Some people spend 400 ETH on like a trippy ape or a gold ape, back then, and some people have spent many more on mega mutants. But if you ask me, I think that there's probably no safer place to put 400 ETH than on a Pudgy Penguin. And this one's got to be one of the best in the collection. Has a solid background, no traits, super default, and I think it's 1 in a million. So shout out to this guy.
Well, technically 1 in 10,000, or actually they're not even 10,000 collection. It's like 7 1,007, or it's less than 10,000. But yeah, Shill, I believe from what I understand, the person that bought this Pudgy, they have been pursuing this penguin for a while now, and this they have been putting offers on it that kept increasing, but the person never bid on it. So I think the guy just decided, you know what, F it, we're just gonna full send it and take it and send it on the 400 ETH. Yeah, and like BSP says, a good point. It faces left. Most of the collection faces to the right, so because of that, it is worth 100 times the floor. Absolutely.
Makes sense.
All right, we did see a huge penguin pump. You can kind of see here at the days following. This is the 7-day floor chart for Pudgy Penguins. You can see August 19th around 2.8, and then this is whenever they just kind of took over Twitter and got up to 4. Well, they got over 4 ETH for a while there, and it looks like they're back down now to around that 3.2, 3.15 range. So the pump is over. They're back to where they kind of started at. Shocker. I mean, it's kind of what we always see at these pumps. This one was weird though. We saw a lot of, I don't know what it is about the crypto about the Pudgy Penguins, but like there's like a marriage between Pudgy Penguins and crypto Twitter. Like there's just so many huge names on crypto Twitter, like Kaleo. I don't know how he says it, but he was repping a Pudgy Penguin avatar. He has like 500,000 followers. This came a week after him like completely fudding Bored Apes, right? So shocker. It's kind of weird. We see that marriage between crypto Twitter and Pudgy Penguins, and they're always really quick to jump on these pumps, and then as soon as it's over, their profile pictures are already changed to something else now already. So. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on the Penguins or this pump? Anything you got?
Dude, well, the only thing that I had to say is like on the timeline I saw people kind of heralding it as the first kind of comeback story for an NFT project. Yeah. And I couldn't think of any straight off the top of my head, but I feel like that's not true. And it's I think you have to sustain that kind of positive movement or that trend upwards for a lot longer than a week or two to call it a comeback story. But
well, I guess I think in the sense they probably mean whenever there's a huge fuzzstorm whenever Cole was over the project, right? And then they got down to under 1 ETH at the peak of that FUD, and then they sold it. The new team took over, and they've just been they've been quiet for a while, and then they've slowly been building back up that floor price, and then now they've kind of arrived again, I guess. So I could call it a comeback in that sense, and I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head of another project that has sold ownership and had someone else completely take over that's been as successful, and I can't think of any.
I mean, the floor price is a different story, but I can probably think of Azuki and Fame Ladies. Azuki and Fame Ladies. And those are all 3 different floor prices across all those collections. But yeah, but Azuki's like never really. I guess they never recovered. They dumped and they stayed there. No, they went to single digits.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they got way up.
They're still there.
Well, they got back to like 13 or 15, and then I think they went down from there.
Yeah, I guess they did have that rebound. I'd be more interested to see it long term, but I don't know. It's kind of fun. I mean, that's one project.
Are you buying Pudgies?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought about it. I'm not gonna hide it. I thought about it. I thought about it at about right in this area. I'm glad that I held back, knowing that this was gonna happen. So yeah. I mean, hey, maybe whenever they're out of the news more and the price drops down a little bit more, hey, maybe we buy a Pudgy Penguin, because I always held back buying them because of Cole, because of the person that was behind the project initially. I never jumped into it. Now that he's gone, and there's an actual person there that is probably more trustworthy than Cole. Then maybe I'll get back in. But also, I minted like 20 or 30 Pudgy Penguins, and I sold them all between like 0.05 and 0.15. So I fumbled the bag of the Pudgy Penguins.
That's tough. What about, if I had to say you have to, or like your only PFP from this point on will either be a Sappy Seal or a Pudgy Penguin, which one would you choose?
Man, I'm going Sappy Seal. I'm going
Arf,
ARF.
arf.
Let's go. Yeah, just the only reason is because there's still people in the Pudgy Penguin like community, like the big holders that have huge followings. I cannot stand them. They're just so like pretentious. And it's all the old crypto Twitter people. I just don't want to be involved with them. And then Sappy Seals, you just got the complete memers and trolls, which I think I fit in a lot more with the memers and trolls than I do with the pretentious crypto Twitter people. So I would say Sappy Seals. What about you?
Dude,
you're more pretentious. You probably get a Pudgy. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Chili probably join the Pudgy gang, Pudgy Penguin gang. Probably get a backwards hat. That trade in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, like, hey, do I think that these still have room to kind of go? It's always a little tough to like buy things when they're green, right? Like over the 24-hour, 7-day, like it's always tough to buy things when they're green versus like on the downside, on the downfall. So I don't know if I'd pick up any of these right now, but they're definitely kind of on the watch radar. And when it comes to like flipping, like in this market that we're in right now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree. It is hard to buy on that green. Even though it could, I mean, we saw with apes, people probably thought the same thing. Like, oh, apes they got to 15 ETH. It's a bad time to buy. They pumped up, and then they just kept going up and up. And it's like, hey, maybe Pudges keep going. Maybe they're going to take the spot of where Zukis were at. They can get to like that 20 to 30 ETH range. Who knows? It could happen. But that's enough Pudgy Penguin talk. Let's move on.
Penguins and seals. Let's go on to the next water animal.
Let's go on. Yeah, sea lions instead of seals. All right, let's talk about some Eminems. I got a sweet tooth. I saw this come out and I was kind of like, yo, this is kind of this is nice. This is good. So Kingship announced a collab partnership with Eminems. Like officially, it was official Eminems. It's not like anybody can go on. You can get custom Skittles, custom Eminems, custom candy, right? This is like an actual partnership with the company, and they've got apes printed on Eminems as part of their collab. And if we go to their website, on the Eminem website, you can buy. Here it is, Kingship and Eminems right here. Exclusive products. They have 3 different boxes you can choose from. The first one's already sold out. There's only 100 of them. It was the limited edition gold box. And there's still 2 left. There is the celebratory gift box limited edition that's numbered out of 101 to 4,000. And then there's just like the gift jar, which it looks like, it's just kind of clear jar with the M&Ms in there, and that's 1 to 6,000. So when we see a collab, another collab that involves apes with another huge brand in Web 2 and in the real world, do you have any initial thoughts on this, or just kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool?
I'm not gonna be too critical here. Like I think it's cool. Like overall, really positive. Like Eminems and embracing this kind of Web3 brand, of course, like with the Bored Apes, being the foundation of this. And then it's cool for this specific group, right? Kingship, to be able to kind of lead the way in that sense. You see a lot of branding, Bored Ape branding, being put onto food and consumables lately. And so this is just continuing that trend. And I think the quality was like a touch subpar for Eminems? A touch, but could they have done much more? No, not really. So overall, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool, like getting like I wonder how detailed they are in actual like the physical M&Ms, because obviously you look on the website, you're like, oh man, that's super detailed on an M&M, but I can just imagine it's gonna be like faded, missing, barely look like an ape on the actual M&Ms. But hey, maybe I'm proven wrong. But hey, we still have some boxes available. Are you a buyer of the limited edition celebratory gift box?
How much is this celebratory?
Let's take a look. So you can get this for $60.
But no, neither. Like the other one, the gold limited or the celebratory gift, probably not. Now, do I like these little collectible limited edition things? Sure, but do I recognize, and am I reasonable enough to say that buying $60, $100 M&Ms is pretty stupid?
The gold box was $100, and this is something you buy and you're not going to open it You living in Texas, you're just gonna have a box of melted chocolate, right?
Yeah,
It's
probably.
so you could never open it because then it's just gonna lose its value because it's just melted chocolate at that
Yeah.
point.
So I kind of like when so obviously these things are about collectibles. That's why we even
Yeah.
buying some of the NFTs, right? Like it's limited edition, limited supply, cool thing to have. Do enough people? Are there enough people that would buy that for $100? The answer is yes. They're already sold out, right? So it makes sense to do this. But am I one of those buyers? Absolutely not. I like the way that Supreme does it sometimes, and Supreme doesn't do this with all of their drops, right? Like they overprice the heck out of everything. But sometimes
right.
Supreme on these smaller things will distribute these out to some of their whatever their retail stores. Some of the just random retail stores or gas stations, and whether it be like a lighter, floss or something like that, or candy, and it's just kind of the normal price of whatever that thing is. But you have to go out there and find it and be one of the first ones to find it in order to be able to get it. Versus, could Supreme sell, a $60 lighter? Sure.
Yeah.
But, I kind of like that model of making it fun instead of price gouging, but whatever.
Yeah. I do think, it's still kind of surreal. Just like, you and I have been OG apes, right? Since basically day one. Just kind of seeing like these partnerships and seeing apes on Eminem packaging. It's just crazy. It's fun. I love it. I'm a big fan. Let's move on a little bit. We have some more food related Bored Ape news. Not really news, but just kind of shout outs, I guess. We got another staying in the candy realm. We've got Bored Candy. They're trying to basically get testers, get some more NFTs to represent different candies, but you can kind of see here, they're making their own candy and they're using apes to brand their product. The candy looks pretty good too. This stuff. I may have to be a purchaser. We'll see. Maybe even my ape can. Maybe my ape will be selected to represent one of the flavors. We'll find out. But what are your thoughts on Bored Candy?
I think it's interesting. Like more people, I'm excited for more and more brands to come out using the IP of Bored Apes. But are they all going to be good or great?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna have their opinions. Everybody has different taste buds, right? Like I have no idea, but it's cool and fun to see. Would I order something if they say, "Hey, here's a sample pack, test pack for $15"?
Yeah.
Like heck yeah. But am I gonna do if it turns into I don't know, just being overpriced just because it's Bored Apes? Then probably not. Like I don't think that I'm more worried about the taste and the quality versus it just having a Bored Ape slapped on top of it.
I don't know. I'm starting like every time I saw the first few of these, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But now I'm like, I feel like we're gonna get to a point where it's just gonna be so watered down that we're gonna have so many bored enter whatever the product is. So now we have Bored Candy, we've had Bored Burger, we've had Bored Coffee, we've had Bored Breakfast, like boring whatever. It's like, all right, hey, let me start a lawn care company in Manhattan, Kansas called Bored Lawn Care and put my ape on the side of a truck and go mow some lawns. Let me work with the plumber. We'll get Bored Plumbing. It's like at what point like can you just put Bored and then whatever the product is and use an ape? Like I don't know. I feel like it's like I'm a fan of the IP, obviously. I think I want people to be more creative instead of just going straight to the board, enter whatever the product is. That's why I like the whole, and we'll talk about a little bit with the Full Send and the Nelk Boys, like their Happy Dad seltzer brand. Like it's not Bored hard seltzer. It's like Happy Dad, and then they have the ape. Like it doesn't really say anything about it being, they kind of stray away from the whole Bored thing, which I like because I feel like at a point you're gonna get too many of these Bored whatever, right? It gets too watered down. It's like, all right, it's like, what are we? And then at that point, you kind of devalue the IP if there's Bored all over the place and for every single product, every single service. So that's my kind of general thoughts on the IP in general. So I want to see more creativity, but I do like seeing people at least going out of the box and trying stuff new.
Well, in Nelk's podcast episode with the Bored Ape founders, Garga actually said that one of the cool things about being a Bored Apes or in that ecosystem is that as you release these products or services or whatever, like you're kind of supported by the rest of the Bored Ape community.
Yeah.
So that is true, but so I definitely like, I love that and I agree with that, but at the same time, I agree with you where, when it comes to branding and your launch and marketing, like I feel like there's so much more there to. They leave so much on the table in terms of their creativity.
Yeah. Yeah, get out of the box, get out of the board box. That's my only thing. Like, yeah, cool. 'Cause I can only imagine, like, just think years down the road from now, how many board products, board companies there's going to be based around apes and mutants and everything.
Yep.
And I've always been a thought like these large companies, they're not going to want your NFT to license, right? Like why would they pay you instead of just going and buying their own and just doing their own thing with it? So
why not future proof it a little bit and like make it a little bit more broad in terms of like Web3 focus, Web3 native, where you're like any of these crypto and NFT communities like we support, but you can have one of your main mascots or products kind of be branded by Bored Ape.
Yeah,
right. Even that would do the trick.
Yeah, and something you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the podcast that the Bored Ape holders or the Bored Ape owners were on, the founders, and they were on the Full Send podcast. This basically happened after we signed off last week. It happened that night. So this is pretty much a week old, but we can at least talk about it just a little bit. And if you didn't listen to it, I definitely recommend y'all going out listening to this podcast with the founders on there, with Gordon and Garga. It's super interesting hearing their point of views, really kind of peeling back the layers some more, getting more behind the scenes, getting their views on things. And we don't need to talk about it too much, just kind of giving a quick little shout out. But I'm sure everyone's by now you've seen the snips of the different types of topics they talked about. They don't care about the floor prices. They're talking about their evaluation. They're talking about the Justin Bieber ape, all this different stuff. It's kind of cool. Did you listen to the podcast and do you have any thoughts from it?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing. Actually, so just putting like the bias aside and comparing it with their other podcasts, I do actually think like it was one of their weaker podcasts. Like I feel like it was really hard for them to stay on topic or ask meaningful questions versus.
Do you think that was? I've never listened to a Full Send podcast, so is that more on? Do you think would you put that more on the Full Send side of it, or more on like who they're interviewing part of?
Yeah, for sure. I hated the party that they had there for the Full Send side of things. They just kept going on these tangents that was like just focused on the brand, man. Like focus on these guys that you have in front of you. Like the first 2-3 minutes were them talking to the Bored Ape founders about Elon Musk. Like in his podcast episode. I was like, you do that before or after. Like they're here right now. You're recording this episode now. I don't want to hear on this podcast episode with Bored Ape founders about how the Elon Musk episode went. That was so stupid to me. But anyways, it was cool to listen to them still. You still got to figure out a little bit more about their background, their history, their personalities. Then they even launched a couple of the products that they're coming out with on the podcast episode. Yeah. One came out that day, and then one is still in pre-launch, but they announced it on the episode.
Yeah, and the one that came out that day was the Happy Dad seltzer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It launched literally that day.
And I want to get your thoughts on that because they're in your neck of the woods. Have you gone out and have you bought this Happy Dad banana flavored hard seltzer?
So I haven't seen the sun in like so many months. I don't go outside. I don't touch grass. So the answer is no. No, I do go outside, but I haven't gone to a store yet to try to find it. Like it didn't motivate me that much to go and find it until I actually watched the podcast. And then the Bored Ape founders were like, "Hey, yo, this banana flavor is kind of good." And I was like, "Dang!"
But do you think they're just saying that because it's like obvious? They're not gonna be like, "Oh man, this is complete dog water," right? It's like, I don't know, a banana flavor hard seltzer. I can't get my mind around it, but maybe it's good. I have to try it out.
I had a little FOMO when they said that, but the other thing is I've had Happy Dad, the original flavor, or I don't know if it's original, but I've had Happy Dad like outside of Bored Ape flavor, banana flavor, and that was kind of like mid, to be honest.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, dang, I need more of these. I need to stock up. But it also wasn't like I didn't spit it out. It was something that I could drink casually, there with my friends. And would I drink it again? Yeah. Am I overpaying for it? Definitely not.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so one other product that they announced was the beef jerky, the board jerky brand, and you kind of see here that they he's showing that there's like an original flavor. There's this there's a spicy, there's a pepper, there's a teriyaki, all different apes on them, different branding. It really, honestly, when I first saw that video, I was like, this is just rebranded Jack Link's packaging. It was like the exact same color scheme, exact same format. The only thing they changed the name and they added an ape on it. So I thought that was kind of a cheap look to it. But I mean, what are your thoughts on their whole beef jerky route now?
Overall, give it a thumbs up. It's not 2 thumbs up. I give it a thumbs up. At least they tried here with the matching the flavors with the bored apes. Pretty original kind of beef jerky wrapping, right? I'm thinking of a brand off the top of my head, or I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it looks very similar to another.
It's Jack Link's.
Oh, is it? Okay, Jack Link's. Yeah.
I mean, let's look at this. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, it looks exactly like that packaging, right? Black rectangle, white lettering, red banner up top. But yeah, I'm excited to taste this more so than I am the banana flavored seltzer.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's basically this, right?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Red banner up top, black box, white text on front. Yeah. So it's like a modern version of Jack Link's. Jack Link's is more like Western-y versus something like this. So
yeah.
Little copy in there, but I guess I don't mind it. Do I expect anything more out of Full Send? Probably not.
Right.
So is it on par? Yes. But it's crazy that they went and bought, and they might be down bad because the timing of when they bought it, right? The timing of when they discussed when they were buying these bored apes, when they were thinking about the ideas and stuff, they probably bought them pretty high. But they went and bought an additional 3 apes to their original one, in addition to their original. So.
Yeah, and they're probably, I mean, with how they're using them, I think even though they're down bad, they're probably going to make up based off using the marketing and getting the board, like you said, getting the board ape, the mob, I mean community behind them and sending more money their way for it. So they'll make up for it for sure. Definitely if they use it that way. And that's how I see more brands instead of like bigger brands, instead of licensing, instead of paying me $10,000 to use my ape, I more see that people buying their own ape and using the IP themselves.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from somebody, I forgot who it was the other day, but they said I had my ape listed for, I forgot what it was, 700,000, and ended up agreeing to a licensing deal this week that pays him, I think, a little bit more than that overall. Over the contract life, right? And he's like, little do they know that they could have had it for cheaper just last week, just to buy it outright.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's move on to some. Let's talk about art. Ooh. Let's talk about we've got some. So before we get in, obviously we're gonna break down the grails. You have the Moonbird's hat. You've got your grail in the token frame right behind you. We'll get into grails here in a bit. But before we do, let's shout out we got 2 huge one-of-one art sales that happened this week. All right. So the first one, we got the one and only Ferocious. So Ferocious had a piece sell for 350 ETH, an all-time high sell for him. So huge price, and a one-of-one piece sold. I mean, crazy sale, right? I mean, happy for Fiwo, fantastic.
Yeah, that's an incredible sale. I mean, there's 99% of artists would take a sale like that's 10% of that, not even, right? So for him to achieve that nearly 600K mark is absolutely ridiculous. Hats off to that man. Yeah. And I don't know. Let's just say you had, money wasn't an issue. Are you picking up this one-of-one because you like it? Like, do you like it enough? I'm
not picking this one up. I don't vibe with this one. Like, I like some of the Fiwo's like colors and stuff. This one's a little bit too out there for me and too weird. Like the animation. I can play it here.
Yeah, I've seen some of these. I can't
It's just a
remember
little
which
bit.
ones.
It's not really my thing. It's definitely somebody's thing. Obviously, they pay 350 ETH for it.
Yeah.
It's mainly probably for the name behind it. Yeah, not my big thing. I wouldn't pay that much for it, but I like the story too. Like Theo shared that their art teacher reached out to him and is
Yeah.
going to be including it into like some of their stuff, just to talk to the students. So that's kind of cool to hear.
That's tough. Like, to be honest, yeah, to see that teacher just saw him make probably 10 years of his or her salary. Oh, her salary.
Yeah.
It doesn't all go to him, but just to say that an art piece, sold for about 10x their salary. That's. Oof.
Ooh. All right, we got one more big sale, and this one's even more. This one's even more. We got an X copy 1 of 1 sold for 500 ETH.
Wow.
On super rare.
That is nuts. This looks like one of those
$800,000.
Not the Etch a Sketch, but the little glow drawing board that you can buy for kids, like for $25.
Yeah, and here it is in motion.
That's what this looks like. It was out even when we were kids, like in middle school and high school. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I'm just saying it's.
Listen, this is one that I would say if I had that FU money, if I had that money where it's like, hey, 500 ETH is just like, it's peanuts to me. Yeah, I'd buy this one for sure. I'd buy this one before the other piece we talked about. But
no, I like it.
Yeah.
There's no way that I'm paying 500 ETH for it.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But I like it.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty cool, and I think this was a secondary, so it wasn't sold. It wasn't sold by X Copy. Like I think this is a piece of X Copies from a few years ago. Yeah, looks like it was minted in 2019 by X Copy, so it's about 3.5 years old.
Yeah, I feel like I'd go out there and just throw a bunch of money at artists all over the world to like invest into their careers. And probably that would pay off more than buying this for 500 ETH.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get it, but there's super fans out there, and actually, my opinion does not matter to them whatsoever.
Yeah, let's get into Grails. So the Grails artist reveal happened earlier today. Happened at noon our time. I think it was 1 p.m. Eastern. We were in the Discord stream. I was streaming it live. We had some people in there watching and joining with us. I kind of kept track, and from our guesses from our stream on Tuesday, we had about was it Tuesday or Monday? I can't remember. Our stream earlier in the week, we had 17 out of 25 guessed correctly. So we had pretty good chances. I feel like we did a pretty good job guessing them. A lot of these were obvious. Like this one didn't end up being Tom Sachs. This was Grant Young. This one was the Goblin Town artist. And yeah, we're not going to go through every single one. We're going to talk about some of the big hitters. But I know you watched live. So before we talk about some of the stuff that happened with it and some of the bigger pieces, let's first talk about which ones we minted, because we didn't actually mint earlier in the week like we said we would live. We did it kind of off stream because we were still making up our minds. So Jeremy, what was the piece you decided on? Did you only have one mint pass? Did you end up picking up another pass or no?
Yeah, my wife is probably laughing at me watching this right now because like I was kind of just biting my nails late at night. I was like, dude, do I pick up another one? Like I was FOMOing. I was like, buy, okay, cancel. Buy, like pick up another mint pass and do this and cancel. So in the end, I didn't pick up another one, but I woke up the next morning too and has like 15 minutes left to do it. And I almost FOMOed into one again, but then I got scared because I was like, what if it doesn't work? And like I lose out, which I'm glad I did because I think somebody else had an issue at the end. But so I went with number 23. I was mainly in between 5 and 23. Went with number 23.
There you go.
Pretty happy. You see it there in the background.
Yep, as I say, we can see it right there in your token frame. That's cool.
And this one ended up being by Nero Color.
It was. Yep.
That is the artist revealed for number 23. Pretty happy with that. It's not as much as the min pass was before reveal. But honestly, when I saw this, like I went and checked the market for how everything was doing on secondary. Really didn't care. It's like this piece just makes me happy. Like I'm just vibing with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the pass cost you free, and you paid 0.05
Yeah.
a minute. So I mean, hey, you're still good.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, and that's a good pickup for you. I know that's one that you said that you were really vibing with. You were liking it a lot, and we kind of and Neurocolor was one of the ones. I think this is one that we couldn't decide on. It was either Neurocolor or Sarah Zucker, and it ended up being Neurocolor.
Yeah.
Which I kind of was hoping it was gonna be Zucker because you mentioned Grails one, you picked the Sarah Zucker ones. You could have had just two Sarah Zuckers, and but yeah. I went ahead and I picked up another pass. So I had two passes. I minted number 11. This is my first one. You know, I thought, I first thought I was pretty sold on this being Monica. I forgot her last name. She was the artist behind Meridian from Art Block. She's one of the top 10 grossing artists. I thought it was going to be Monica. It wasn't. Ended up being ACK, which I was pretty happy with.
Yo, wait. Oh shit, never mind. My bad. I got baited.
You got baited?
Continue. Yeah, continue.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I used that my first one on 11, and then I had my last pass left. I waited till 15 minutes before to use it, and I was debating between two. And I posted them in the Discord, and I said, which one do I pick? Do I pick 14 or do I pick 15? And I went with 15.
Oh, that's.
And looking back now, 15 was, hey, he's a good artist. He's, I forgot his name off the top of my head. He's a European fella. That's fine and all. 14 was Snowfro, so 14 was the big get of the Grails. 14 ended up being the Grail of the actual like Grails mint. So. This is the one you wanted. Only 50 were minted, and it's sitting at a 23 ETH floor right now.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's you had a 50-50 shot of hitting it pretty good there.
Yeah, I narrowed it down. I ended up minting ones that I didn't know who the artists were because I had the the inner Degen in me, the gambler. I just kind of wanted to take the chance on some of those big hits because we knew one of those was going to be a big hitter, and it ended up being 14. And the issue with this is if we look at the sales, we can't really look at the sales for these individually. But if I scroll down, there is actually, let me see. If I go to recently sold, yeah, recently sold. So these all happened after reveal. 25, 23, 24. Let's scroll down a little bit. Then we get interesting. We get an 80th sale, a 10th sale. And there's also a 16. Oh yeah, I think it was this 24.5 one. They bought it for 16 ETH as well earlier. Those three sales all happened hours before it was announced it was Snowfro. So, listen, are we fudding? Because it's clear as day. It's clearly there was some leak. Someone knew something. And they sent it because no one knew the day before, but then all of a sudden, hours before reveal, these ones are getting scooped up at the floor. And by the time it was revealed it was Snowfro, the floor price is already at like 23, 22 ETH. So there was leaks. I went and looked up some of the wallets, and they were ones that had the that they had the Larva Labs Grail from last season. They had the Gary V one, so they've had a history of hitting it pretty good in Grails. So. There's probably some alpha group where there's some leak, something came through. So yeah, because that's an expensive gamble. You don't just take a 16 ETH gamble hours before the reveal, thinking like, oh, maybe this is the big one. You would have minted it, right? You would have bought the mint pass for 3.5 ETH and minted it. Then you don't wait and spend 16 ETH. Yeah, until you're for sure, know for sure it's somebody.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this was the big one to get. Everything else, I'm trying to think. I guess the only other news about this one, about the Grails, is number 22. This is the one that people were sold on that being X copy.
Oh,
yeah. They were sold on it. They said, look at the X's. I mean, we look at it, there's so many hidden X's. This is going to unscramble and reveal an X copy. You just wait. And guess what? It was not X copy. And it wasn't Beeple. There was no X copy. There was no Beeple. This one was the most minted at 136 mints. And if we look on OpenSea right now, It is sitting at a 0.89 floor.
Mm.
People bought mint passes for 4 ETH and minted this one thinking it was X copy. And that's tough. They as soon as the artist was revealed, I kind of feel bad. I mean, how do you feel as the artist? Like obviously you're looking at this piece and it ended up being Elida's son. And she went through, and I mean, how do you feel from her point of view that people think you're one artist, and then once it's revealed it's you, everyone dumps your piece? It's like, I can't feel too great, right?
Yeah, I mean, that, kind of sucks for her, hopefully keeping her head up, but, that's kind of the danger of going with the trend, going with the speculation, especially at that high of a mint count, right? Like, there's so many of those that exist now that's just completely super exaggerated, and people are getting rid of it. It's not X copy. So many people want to get rid of it. That's why it drove the floor price down for that. And it's like, dude, that's a tough situation all around. And that's why, you gotta be your own alpha sometimes.
You gotta be your own. And number 24 did end up being Justin Aversano. It was revealed afterwards. And this is what it revealed to. It flipped over. This is the canvas piece that he basically remade his number 0, his Genesis piece for the Cognition collection, and one collector will get that. So price I thought this was a strange one. Like, people thought it was Aversano. After it was announced, the price still dumped. I don't know why. Because Aversano's, he's a top 10 grossing NFT artist. So that was kind of confusing to me that people are like so quick to dump it. Did any of the other grails stick out to you that you wanted to talk about? We're not going to talk about every single one. We talked about a lot of them earlier in the week.
Was it number 5? The one that ended up being the posthumous piece?
Yeah, number 5 was a collab. So the artist that, the generative artist that did it, she's alive, but she collabed with the White House. And there's a second piece that is going to be attached to this. And I don't think it's loaded up here yet, but there's a second NFT that's going to be attached to this. And it's a collab with the White House, and it's like their historic art section, and that piece is the posthumous piece, and they're attached. So once so the collectors will get airdrop that piece, but both of the NFTs are going to be they're connected. So once you sell one, you sell both. So they have to be together. And this ended up being the posthumous piece. And this is the one that intrigues me because there's only 17 minted for this one. And having that collab with the White House, having it be the posthumous part of it, I think that's really interesting. I'm totally. If you have it, you get 30% off taxes in the U.S. Let me send this for 80th right now then. But this one's really interesting. I think that's a really cool story. I think it was kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, but people were really shooting high for the posthumous piece, thinking it was going to be like, it's going to be Jackson Pollock, it's going to be Andy Warhol, it's going to be some huge name, but it didn't end up being someone that big.
Yeah. So this one, I was in between 5 and 23. I was a bit selfish because I liked 5, and I asked my wife which one she liked. She said she liked number 5 too. But I just couldn't get away from the number 23, man. It just kept tugging at my heartstrings. So she let me pick, and I went with 23. I don't think I would have been disappointed with either, but that's how it went down in our household. But, so again, just going back down to, how many were minted of the X copies? Or, sorry, rumored X copies?
The rumored X copies, 136.
136. Was that number 1?
That was the most minted one.
Oh no, these people got to be down bad like this. They probably look like this. Watch. This is how everybody who minted that piece looks like today.
I was watching the Discord whenever it was going through, and as soon as it was announced that Elida's son was 22, everyone was like, "What? No!" Like, people were so upset. Because there's just people that gambled for it. If I had to pick, I mean, looking at the other pieces, I really love number 17. This one, the artist behind it. This was Emily Z. She had like a video behind it. there's also a physical of this NFT, so a holder of it's gonna they're gonna wrap off the holders, and one person's gonna get the physical. I just really like the video. She legit like looked like she was super passionate and like loved this piece. Like the way that she looked at it, I'm like, man, you gotta find someone that looks at this piece the way that Emily looked at her piece, right?
Yeah.
But I just really liked the story behind it. I liked the artist video behind it. It was a nice touch. Personal touch, and kind of made me think about like, maybe I want to go grab that just to kind of support the artist and have it, because I think it's a cool piece, and getting the physical would be, I think that'd be fantastic. But yeah, did any piece, if you had to go back, let's say you couldn't mint 5, you couldn't mint 23, what would be the next piece that you would have gone back and minted, knowing what you know now? And not 14, obviously.
Dude, there was a lot of cool ones. I probably, another one that caught my eye and made the short list was the number 8, but I got flooded out of it because there were so many people that minted it, right?
Yeah.
Looking back, like, I would have been completely happy, especially with that mint number. It wasn't in the hundreds. Other than that, potentially Process Gray. I think a lot of people, like, they didn't know who Process Gray was, but they saw this art piece come out. They really liked it. And then plus when they saw the reveal happen.
He's got some diamond hand holders.
Yeah, so I feel like he made quite a fan base out of the people who participated in Grails too. Looking back, I still don't think I would have minted it because I have so many of the kind of limited Illuminati pieces from him, so I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But I think this was kind of like a sleeper pick.
I think so as well. And they showed like a time lapse of him making this piece, and it was super cool. Like watching that time lapse, that was fun to watch. Like how much detail went into it.
Yeah. So Sicko has a question here, and it's just like kind of what you said earlier. Did any of them retain their value? Well, technically they were 0.05 ETH to mint, so they're all above their value.
Yeah. If we look at like the recent sales, there's not a lot of recent. Let me refresh it, but I think it updates automatically. There's not a lot of action right now. Several of them are above it, but there's also just not a lot of buyers right now for it.
Yeah.
So,
but if you go off of the price of like what was the mint pass secondary, like what you could have sold it for versus what you can sell it for now, then yeah, a lot of them are down. But in terms of what you actually minted it for, you're way up.
Yeah, and Antoli's right. That Process Gray piece, if you do own it, you do get a free. Like
it's one of his generative projects that he's
yeah.
releasing. Honestly, not that big of a fan of it. I feel like generative projects from collections like that are kind of dead at the moment, unless they have a lot of hype behind it. And so far, I think they officially announced it today, but I don't see them making a huge bang. But again, he made a lot of fans during this whole thing, so we'll see. That's one to keep an eye out on. Potential alpha, right?
I guess my final thoughts about this. I love this process. It was super fun to keep to. It was refreshing to me. We get so caught up in the 10K projects, the generative, the PFPs, the degen stuff. It's like, and this was kind of refreshing. Like actually looking at the art, discovering artists that they're big names in the NFT art world, but I didn't know who they were. So it was fun diving into their art, diving into who these people were as artists, and I really enjoyed it. It was actually like a breath of fresh air this week, and it was one of the main things I focused on because it was something new, it's something different, and it kind of inspired me a little bit. Like something moving forward, I want to look more into these like actual like non-generative artists and look into these NFT artists and try to start collecting more of these one-of-one art pieces more often. And maybe as I do that, I can as I make purchases and stuff, we can talk about some of them on stream and feature them a little bit and just kind of go through it that way. I think that'd be kind of a fun addition to get away from the degen 10K PFP market.
Will we see Tagline's Genesis art piece coming out this year?
Okay, listen. Let me go buy
art and everything.
Let me go buy an iPad and one of those little like eye pencils and like, hey, I can have Hunar give me some tips and we can get started. We can have a little tag, just like Schiller's got Schiller paints. We can do a little bit better that way. But I am not an artist. I am purely a collector. If I was an artist, I'd probably come out as like a completely anonymous artist and not tell anybody.
Oh, okay.
Have like a. You never know. I could be X copy. But you would never know. So that's what I would do, and mainly because I have too much pride. So if it came out and it was like terrible, it's not, my name's not attached to it. I can just, hey, we're just gonna abandon that alter ego and just move on. All right. Let's move on from the Grails. Do you have any? Well, I guess before that, do you have any final thoughts about Grails?
No, it's fun. Season 2, cool. I think it kind of came out faster than what I was thinking relative to Grails 1. You know, some people may say that, oh, that was a long time in between. I thought this would kind of be kind of like an annual thing, but it seems like it's going to be like just short of that. So maybe 3 every 2 years potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. That's all I thought, was that it was a little fast. Completely enjoyed the process. Again, like I said last stream, I hope that maybe for Grails 3 they add a little bit of a wrinkle in there, just so that way it doesn't get too like repetitive and boring. It's fun, but you know, to keep things fun, like NFL, NBA, they're changing things, you know, rules, blah blah blah, format every year, just to add a little bit of a wrinkle in it next time.
Yeah, and they do have Grails 3 on the horizon. It should be it could be. I mean, it's probably going to happen this year. They're going to have. They already have artists secured for it, so that's going to be fun to follow as well. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll get a mint pass for the Grails Moonbird, but I will definitely be at least purchasing one on the secondary, just so I can play along with it again. And if you're a flipper, you don't care about the art. Look at the Grails process and take notes. Like, the play for the Grails mint pass was to buy it a couple days after the pass was dropped to holders, because it dropped down to like 2.5, 2.7, a little bit under 3 ETH. You could scoop them, and then right before the reveal, whenever people were using them, people were buying them for 3.8, 4 ETH. So that was the play. You could have scooped up a few, flipped them for almost a 2x within a few days. So take note for next time. Maybe a similar trend happens.
Yeah, that was the play, or two different plays here. One, again, like Taki said, right after they come out, right after they start minting full supply out, people are dumping them, buy them at the beginning, sell them at the end. The other second play here is to be in the alpha circle of whatever Snow Pro is in.
Find
whatever
those
leak that happens.
Hey, find those people that bought early and follow their wallets, follow whatever groups they're in, try to get in, and then you'll make more money that way.
Yeah, we would have known to mint number 14.
14, yeah.
Yep.
All right, we have some more news. We got Magic Eden is now they've moved forward, so now you can buy any Sol NFT with ETH or credit cards. But the main story here is that you can use ETH to buy Sol NFTs on Magic Eden.
Yep.
Nice little function. I'm not going to use it because it's in my eyes it's basically like, you know, why would I go to the dollar store and trade in my name brand for off-brand stuff? Right? I'm gonna keep my ETH on ETH, but no, all jokes.
My platinum card at $1.
No, all jokes aside, I mean, this is a good function for people that are into Sol NFTs. You don't have to worry about bridging it from ETH to Sol and waiting for it to go across and then buying it. It's easy transition where you can just make it all one transaction. So good on them for doing this. Makes it a lot easier for the user experience. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
No, I mean, we knew it was coming. We announced it the day that like Magic Eden said they were coming over to ETH, but the feature is actually out there. I think there's a couple pop-in Solana projects, but again, like I feel like it's more risky, especially because the Solana network still has like a long way to go to mature and everything. And we have the Ethereum merge coming up, so it's just those two dynamics at play. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to like purchase Solana stuff with Ethereum at the moment. So I'm with you, but that's my reasoning. Yep.
The only thing I'd be interested in right now is maybe the gods from Solana, because those are holding up very well. Like I said, there's going to be a couple projects on Solana that are going to keep up with a lot of ETH NFT projects, and DeGods is definitely showing like they're a true competitor. All right, so sticking on the whole Magic Eden front, they had a featured launch with an ETH NFT, and I think this was their first one, and it was Izu. And there's a lot of drama around here. This is where I'm gonna try not to FUD it, but we're gonna probably end up FUDing it, you know. So Izu, for those that don't know, is the sister project to Psychedelics Anonymous, run by none other than Volterra. If you don't recognize the name Volterra, you probably don't have him on notifications like he wants you to, and you don't retweet everything, but which is probably better for you. But Volterra was the one that he really. I don't know. He really pushed this weird meta back in like November, December of just I don't the allow stuff, the simping for things, the just have notifications on. This just engaged in farming tweets. Like it was just so bad, so exhausting, and he's kind of at it again. So we've got Izu 15,000 total items, a 0.2 mint price. Hey, did you mint?
Nuh-uh.
Did you even know about this?
I knew about it.
Yeah.
Again, it was like a Magic Eden launchpad. I feel like those are super risky at the moment.
Yeah.
And again, spending ETH on a cross-chain Solana project, I don't know. Especially not for a PFP at this moment in time, right? Like PFPs, for the most part, like 98% of them are just dead, like whenever they come out. So.
Yeah. So we always talk about red flags. So this project it's a newer, it hasn't even released, or it's just released this week, but it's already up over 100,000 followers. Like it's just, whenever something has that many followers, like it's already kind of like all right, a little bit sketchy. But you look into it, they went to a public sale and no one was buying. Basically people like the secondary price was cheaper than the mint price. There wasn't the excitement around it. People weren't buying. So then they put out this tweet like saying, hey, there's a snapshot of all the minters, and basically hinting at you're going to be rewarded for minting. And I have my thoughts on that. I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on projects announcing minting snapshots? Because obviously the point of this announcement is to entice people to mint. Like that's the only reason.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a good way to, or it just comes off wrong. It comes off bad when you announce it before like it's done. It's better to like let it happen naturally, organically, and then a week or two after, a week or so after the mint has ended, be like, hey yo, by the way, we did take a snapshot of everybody who minted, and that comes off to me like a lot more, what's the word, like. I can't think of it right now, but a lot more genuine. Yeah, a lot more genuine.
That way, you're more genuine and trying to reward your supporters. And this way, this makes it seem like you're trying to get people you're trying to extract more money. Like that. That's all it is, and that's literally all it is. You're extracting 0.2 ETH from people in the hopes that they're going to get something in return. Yeah, and instead, like why aren't you rewarding your actual holders too? Because some people could go in the secondary, help prop up your project's floor to make it look better, but they're not going to get the reward as minting. So it comes across as you're rewarding the people that are giving you money directly instead of the people that are holding up your floor, where you only get maybe 5% of that sale or whatever the royalty fee is. It's bad. It's a bad look. I hate it. And this is classic Voltura. I mean, Voltura is all hype. He never, it's all hype. And the one thing about the Izu, I want you to look at this. First of all, hold on. What is Izu? Can you even tell me what the project is?
It's a sister project to Psychedelics Anonymous.
Nobody knows what it is. No one can tell me what Izu is. It's just like, oh yeah, it's Izu. Are you minting it? Hey, it's happening. And I was curious. I'm like, what is Izu? So I go to the website. I'm like, oh cool. They have a product. They have a roadmap. I read through this whole thing, and this told me nothing. This isn't an actual product. They're selling out for. This is basically a seed round phase. It's like they're without giving out any equity. They're raising money, and basically they're trying to branch into this where to earn at lifestyle thing, but they don't have any partnerships right now. They use an example like on the website. They say, here's an example. North Face pays you to wear their clothes. It's like, well, you don't have North Face actually secured as a partner, so why are you even throwing their name out there? Like, you don't have anybody. So it's the whole thing is just it feels scammy, it feels cash grabby, it feels like a whole lot of big words that mean nothing. And yeah, I think it's destined to fail, and I think we're already seeing that, especially in this type of market right now. Like it's just, I don't know, it's a whole lot of nothing. Go through the website, look at it, tell me if you agree with me or if I'm completely wrong. I don't know. But I mean, also, go ahead. Yeah,
he's good at market, or I don't know. In some metrics, right? In some measure, technically good at marketing.
I think he's good at making people think he's good at marketing.
Yeah, and well, the style of the things that he brings out, like they actually do have quite a bit of style or like fashion to them, but it's what do you call it? Not false, but it's kind of like a dude. I just can't come up with the words today, but you don't get much for it, right? Like you buy it, you kind of FOMO into it. Okay, this looks really good, but there's not a whole lot of weight behind it, right?
Yeah.
Substance.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, not a lot of substance, like you said. It's just for me, it's all hype with that stuff. But if we look at it now, the mint has closed. They decided to close minting, but they still said they're still going to have 15,000 EZUs total, and there's only about 5,000 minted. So how's that going to happen? They're going to be airdropping everyone that holds EZUs. They're going to be airdropping people that hold psychedelics NFTs. They're going to be airdropping. They're basically airdropping 10,000 EZUs. So
kind of sucks.
What's that going to do to the supply? If you minted, you paid 0.2 for this. The floor price is 0.2. What's going to happen whenever people get 10,000 for free?
Yeah,
what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Accepting the offer immediately.
Oh my god! You better hope that snapshot that you took for minting it is going to be worth the price that you paid for it, because this price, once they get airdropped 10,000 for free, this price is going to absolutely dump. Because why else would you hold it? I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole process is just, it's so cash grabby. It's so just not keeping your holders, best interest in thought. I am very against the way they've been handling things. So those are my thoughts on it. If you do hold EZUs, I would definitely sell now. Even if you get less than what you paid after fees and everything, it's at least, you can at least sell it more today than you can in a few days, or whenever they drop 10K for free, and then the floor is 0.05. So
yeah, that's a good tip. I mean, even especially if it's one that you don't like at the moment, if you are a holder, like it probably just makes sense financially. Like sell now, buy when they drop later, and buy one that you like. Yeah,
and they even got kind of pushback from this tweet right here. He got a lot of pushback from, they said that people that were minting the PA full sets, like they took a snapshot, but those people haven't received anything in return from that snapshot. So it's just one of those simple things that people say. It's one of those tactics where you just say, oh yeah, we're going to snapshot the minters, but then like nothing actually happens. Pixelvault's done this in the past to build up hype around things, like we're going to snapshot full set holders, we're going to snapshot if you mint this. And it's like, how it's a tactic Beanie used a lot in things, like he's going to snapshot bidders for his NFT on Foundation. It's just one of those tactics just to extract more money. And anytime you see this, we talked about red flags in the past, this is a red flag for me. Anytime someone mentions a snapshot of minting or a bidding or anything like that, it's just a huge red flag to me. So I don't have any other thoughts on EZU unless you do.
Nope, I think we've given them too much time.
Too much time. All right, let's move on. We've got some. I mean, so speaking of scammers, let's talk about this a little bit.
Oh,
yo, Mootown. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Yo, hi, welcome to the stream. Thanks for hopping in. And Hunar, sup, dude. Sup, dude. All right, so this came out. This company did this. I don't know if it was research or analysis or anything, but what it came out is basically in a year time frame between July 2021 and July 2022, over $100 million worth of NFTs were publicly reported as stolen through scams. That's just publicly reported, so you can imagine this number is a lot higher. But does that number, just 100 million, saying that, does that surprise you, or are you like, that sounds about right?
Yeah, not really, because it depends, like, what's $100 million worth? Like, if...
Is it worth that today, or was it at the time it was stolen?
Yeah, that, in terms... Yeah, exactly. When were they worth that much? And then also, like, do they even have any, like, real volume or buyers? Because, like, Schiller Paints, right? It could have a 69th floor and be worth 120,000, right? So what is it worth? So it doesn't surprise me. It's just headline.
Let's take it on face value. Let's just assume that it actually is like it's $100 million worth of the top PFP projects. This is apes, this is mutants, this is Clonex, this is Doodles, this is cats, this is all of the above, and so you can actually sell it at the floor for its price. I mean, that's crazy, and this is why, I mean, I feel like this is, people see these headlines and they say like, yeah, see, that's why NFTs are a scam. Do you think that this is a big issue? Do you think it's overblown? Do you think this is a barrier to entry for people coming into crypto and NFTs? Or, I guess, how big of an issue is this for us, and should we be really concerned about it?
No, I feel like this gives me 0% concern.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's probably, in the US, like if you look at the diaper theft in the US, it's probably over $100 million, right? Like people need diapers, like and they'll steal diapers. You probably lose more money in stolen diapers than entire NFT scene in this year. So so it doesn't concern me at all. And then also it kind of went out the window when they included money laundering on here, because like money laundering is like one of the biggest myths in blockchain and NFT scene. So yeah, it's just already I kind of write it off.
Yeah, I get that. I guess the only difference, I understand the diaper analogy. The only difference is that this is being stolen from consumers rather than like the retailers who could probably afford more to have some of those things stolen, or maybe they're insured on it. But obviously, I mean, I think my only takeaway is that if you are bridging or onboarding somebody to NFTs, Web3, crypto, make sure you do it correctly. Make sure they know what they're doing. Make sure they know what they're getting into, because it is easy. It is. I mean, it's not easy. I guess it's easy to get scammed if you are just like oblivious to things. You're like, oh, someone DM me this link. It's a free mint. Fun. Let me mint this. Like, yeah, if you're that dumb, then yeah, you're gonna get scammed. So if you are onboarding somebody, like people just need to be onboarded correctly, and just that education needs to be there. And whether it's your friend or someone you run into or someone that you interact with online, like it's just the education needs to be there, because scams are gonna happen. As long as there's money involved, it's gonna happen. It happens in the real world. It happens everywhere else. It's gonna happen here as well. So my main takeaway is that whenever we onboard people, we just need to make sure we do it the right way. But
sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's more of a non-issue, and is more of kind of like a one of those headlines that's to get clickbait, right?
Yep, for sure.
All right, we've got a little bit update with the bin DAO. We talked about this last week. This is the one where we had all of those apes were, this time last week, everyone was talking about, hey, bin DAO liquidation is going to crash the market. Apes are going to 30 ETH. Everything's going crazy. Well, that actually didn't happen. It looked like it was a lot more. People made it seem to be more scary than it actually was, or there was a solution. But the liquidity is back on bin DAO. There's more, as NFT statistics points out here. The APR is back up to 11% for lending ETH. The ape floor is back up over 70. It's at like 72 right now instead of that 68. So it's up 4 ETH than it was last week. Things are looking better. Looks like we maybe have avoided it. So we just kind of wanted to give a little quick shout out at this little update and saying, hey, this is it's a little bit better now, right? Things are in better conditions than they were last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I forgot who tweeted it today, but they were like, hey, where's all that liquidation or 30 ETH apes that you guys were talking about? Where they at though?
It's the same thing whenever people were saying ETH was going to get down to 500, 400. It was kind of the same people saying the same thing. It's once you started hearing that, it's probably pretty clear, like, this is probably the bottom. And that kind of was. I do want to give a quick shout out here too. If you don't already follow NFT statistics, this person was recently brought on to Proof as the director of research. I don't usually advocate for like people very often. I don't know who this person is. I've never interacted with them. This is one of the few people I would recommend following and actually having notifications on for. Like they're not trying to sell you something, but they actually do really good research and provide good they provide pretty good content for free on the Twitter. So definitely a shout out there.
Yep.
All right.
CC is chiller. Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks for hanging around, Steve. Appreciate it. All right, next topic. We have some truth labs right up your lap, right up your neck of the woods.
Right up my lap.
Right up your lap.
Yep.
All right, truth labs making their own marketplace. What do you think?
okay, and this might be one of the next trends, right? Happening in the NFT and Web3 space is like so many people have cried like ape marketplace, and now everybody has copied apes in terms of the serums and the second gen, this and that, the roadmap art. Like, okay, so what else can we copy about them? Probably having their own marketplace. And sure, were apes the first ones to have it? No, they still don't even have one. But these people are kind of getting ahead of that wave, like in terms of the copycat wave. So I don't mind it, but at the same time, I don't think it's novel. I don't think it's any reason to, pump those bags, go buy one right now or anything like that. I think is it do I give them an applause for that? Yeah, but I'm not gonna think that AJT is the next best founder of a project.
I guess you can give kind of props to them. Like, they did lower the royalties from 7.5% to 5%, but also it's their marketplace now, so it's you're getting rid of that 2.5% from OpenSea. So they are lowering the fee, which is I guess fine, but also people are like saying, "Oh man, they're lowering the royalty fees. That's so great." It's like also 7.5% was one of the highest fees you see in a 10K project. Mm-hmm. Like let's not act like they're saints and they're like giving out money to everybody. It's like 7.5% was pretty high. 5% is still pretty high when we think about it. Apes are 2.5%, so. Apes been 2.5% the whole time, so 5%. I'm glad they lowered it, but also it's like it's still pretty high. So this is a good announcement to maybe bring more volume to a project where you can get more of that percentage back to your way. But I guess props to them. We are going to see own marketplaces, which is I don't know. I just don't want to have tabs of all these different marketplaces where I have to go to buy different things. Like I mean, listen, as much as we hate centralization, I love being able just to pull up one marketplace and buy a project from everywhere right there. But that's why I'm a big user of Gem, or like Gem.xyz. I'm a big fan of that because I can see it compiles all the marketplaces into one. I'm a fan of that. But
yeah, I think aggregate marketplaces are still going to be king, like I've said that before on the stream. And then what makes sense to me is just partnerships with collections of those market aggregators, right? So like Gem, partnership with Illuminati, right? And they can discuss the terms of that on their own, but that makes it more convenient for me versus having to go, like you said, to each individual marketplace to get the best deal. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. All right. They have this long thread. We're not going to go through some of theirs. The main news was that they're making their own marketplace. Do you have any final thoughts about this?
Absolutely not.
All right. Next topic. We got some pretty big. I mean, it's not big news. We kind of were expecting it, but we have the official news. Mm-hmm. So Eminem and Snoop Dogg are performing From the D to the LBC live at the VMAs. And if y'all don't know, that's the song that features their apes. I'm wearing the merch right now. There's exclusive merch right now. I kind of laughed that they do say the world premiere performance. We kind of saw the world premiere performance in person in Ape Fest. They're not going to count that one. We saw the unofficial one, right?
Yeah, we saw the unofficial official one.
Now, before I move on to something else about this, I want to take a side. Let's take a little side trip with me, okay? Can we stop, like as NFT Twitter, can we stop replying to these types of posts from big companies, like to the actual world, with pictures of your PFP?
Oh yeah.
So like let me just scroll down. This is
it's a little cringe.
Yeah, I mean this is my plea to all of NFT Twitter.
Wait, don't scroll down. Let me delete my tweet.
Yeah, go ahead. Listen, delete your tweet and then let me scroll down. But listen, this is my plea to all NFT Twitter. Whenever someone like an MTV or a big brand posts about your NFT project, listen, nobody cares that you own it. Okay, like you don't need to plaster the post with the picture of your profile picture with a handshake emoji. Like it's okay. You don't have to do that because let's just scroll down. Obviously, since I'm in NFT Twitter, so it's going to show people I follow before it shows any others. It's going to look worse, but I mean, let's just do a quick scroll down.
Hey,
yo, shout out Andy. Listen, was one of our boys, but I mean, I don't know. Like, is this cringe to you? Like, just like people just immediately post their own profile picture and say, "Yeah, let's go. Here we go. I have an ape too." Like,
honestly,
or
I
you
could
like,
care less.
are you gonna let it slide? I don't know. Is this something that I'm just like, am I being a Karen on there right now? Is this like one of those weird pet peeve I have?
I guess, because I don't even see this, so I don't even know how you found it unless you're literally intentionally clicking on this tweet and scrolling through. But you got a lot more time than I do.
I mean, look at this. It's people posting their apes and a cranium, wicked cranium, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, would I be that person? No. But also, you got to be a different type of person to actually notice that.
I mean, my first thing is, because I click on this, I want to see the replies from the normies. I kind of want to see like what they're saying, so I scroll down. I have to scroll past like 5 pages of 8 pictures before I get to the first normie post.
I can see that for sure.
And I'm like, okay, there we go.
Well, I did the same thing on their YouTube music video. When I scrolled through the YouTube comments, you were sitting beside me on the plane. You know,
I did, yeah.
And then we were scrolling through the comments, and not a single one of them mentioned apes, bored apes, anything like that. And thankfully, there you cannot post photos because it'd probably be the, similar thing. But yeah, I get it.
There we go. 5 killer tagline. Here we go. Yep. Sorry about that, but all right, let's stick on this. There's actually a pretty big piece of news that I don't know if it's been kind of underreported, but I haven't seen too many people talk about it. So on the Eminem official website, this is their press release about the performance. This is on their website, and it says, first of its kind performance inside the world of the Other Side Metaverse in partnership with Yuga Labs. So we're gonna see The Other Side on MTV on Sunday. That's huge, right? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty big promotion. I mean, I know there's a lot of music festivals and awards ceremonies now these days. VMAs kind of get like overshadowed a bit, but they're still a big thing. And then maybe that's a sneak peek that we haven't seen before, hopefully. Like if it's just a rerun of a trailer of, people interacting in the other side, like I'll be pretty disappointed. Hopefully it's something new and fresh that we haven't seen before. Maybe
we can see Curtis make a little appearance with Gordon's voice.
Yeah, so it's not I can't say it's a banger for us yet. I hope so.
Yeah.
But in terms of the normie world, like that's gonna be kind of cool to get in front of them. They're probably gonna dog on it. But
oh yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised because, like you mentioned, I went and watched a lot of like the YouTube video reactions for their music video. A lot of people were kind of like, "Oh man, these are NFTs," but it's actually it's actually pretty cool. Like the animation's pretty sick. So I think people are opening up to it, and I mean, I think it's gonna be kind of sweet. Like this is gonna be really the world's like first like introduction to the other side. Right, like we know about the other side because it's the world we live in. If you're in NFTs, you know what the other side is. But this could be the first introduction to like an actual metaverse that's not that weird meta Mark Zuckerberg thing. Like this could be like the first introduction outside of that, and people can kind of see like, oh, this is actually kind of cool, and then maybe look into it. So bring on the people to buy our bags and pump them up. Let's go.
Do you think Snoop Dogg brings the same performance that he had at Ape Fest and the VMAs?
Do what?
Remember the performers
that
he had at Ape Fest?
Listen, I hope they're there. I hope they're there.
That's crazy. But it is kind of cool. Like both of these guys, it's not like you see them all the time everywhere on VMAs. This is the last time Eminem was there 12 years ago. Last time Snoop Dogg was there was when Gokina was not even born. Gokina wasn't even born the last time Snoop Dogg performed at the VMAs. Yeah.
And when's the last time Snoop and Eminem have performed together? Never?
Never.
Right? Like, I mean, they didn't really perform at Ape Fest. Like, Eminem was there. He walked on stage and then walked off. So I don't think you can consider that performing together. But yeah, they never performed together. So it's going to be kind of...
Here's Eminem's performance at Ape Fest. Hey, yo, what up, Ape Fest? that's basically what it was.
that definitely was Eminem at Ape Fest for sure.
Ape Fest.
Oh yeah, Justifish's right. I guess they did perform at the Super Bowl together. Yeah, I just forgot because it was like 7. It was like a big group of them, so I forgot. But yeah, that is true. Good call out. All right. Well, let's move on to some. We've that's kind of all the big news we've hit. Let's go ahead and move into just some quick news and notes. Some things that have happened, some mints coming up, some pre-mints. Let's hop into this first one. So, real quick, Ready Player Me has done a Series B fundraising at $56 million. $56 million from none other than, of course, Andreessen Horowitz. They're in everywhere A16Z Capital. And yeah, for those out there that are wondering what this is, Jeremy, break it down. What is Ready Player Me firstly?
All right, so Ready Player Me is kind of a blend between Web2 and Web3 company. They support both like projects and they support Web2 and Web3 projects and platforms. So essentially what Ready Player Me is that they're building a platform in SDK for people to build an avatar that kind of follows them throughout all of these platforms. So whether it's Instagram, OVR, Spatial, Decentraland, Other Side, any of those, any platform that you can imagine yourself using an avatar, they want to build a global one. So somebody that resembles you, or it's like a human version. So it can resemble you. I can make mine to look like Tagline. Anyways, that thing is going to follow me everywhere. And then there's going to be like a creator economy to it. So if I know how to make wearables or, cool hats, jackets, shoes, whatever it may be, like I can sell those as accessories for Ready Player Me. But the thing is, it's interoperable. So if I go into the Other Side, I use my Ready Player Me. Then I want to go to Sandbox and use the same thing. Probably Sandbox is actually below them. They probably wouldn't stoop that low, but you get the idea. Like I could use it wherever. Gotcha. That's what Ready Player Me is. And then the powerful part of that is their SDK that's in development.
Cool.
But
so
you can, last thing is you can go onto Ready Player Me and you don't have to, but it's optional to do like a face scan via your mobile phone or webcam. And that model will actually come out looking very, very much like you.
Okay. Some of our viewers may want to avoid that. They probably want to look like nothing like themselves in the metaverse,
Yeah, I can think of a few.
So if for me as a consumer, I see this news and I think, hey, how can I get involved? How do I get invested? Is there an NFT I go buy, or do I just go to their website? What do I do as a consumer for them?
For Ready Player Me? Or
for Ready Player Me.
Like, what do you have to do to be involved?
Yeah. Like, let's say I don't have any involvement in them. I'm like, that's cool. I want to get involved. Like, do I go buy? Is there an NFT I go buy? And do I just go to their website and just sign up? Or?
So they're not an NFT project themselves yet. Like, they haven't offered any minting. They haven't released a collection. But you can go to readyplayer.me and then create your avatar via like a normal Web2 login, right? Email and password. You can create your avatar. Who knows? Like if they do decide to create an NFT project or something, or drop something, release something, they could technically take a snapshot, even a Web2 snapshot, right, of emails that are already have an existing avatar, or maybe at some point they ask you to connect a wallet and they take a snapshot of the wallet addresses. So just in case you want to be ahead of the game, you can go there. They are safe, obviously. Andreessen Horowitz wouldn't be involved at that high of a Series B round if they didn't know their stuff. So
they also have a lot of other big names in here. It wasn't just Andreessen Horowitz. It was the co-founder and CEO of Roblox, David Baszucki. They got Justin Kan, that's co-founder of Twitch. They got Kevin Hart. They got Endeavor, Punk 6529, Robert Chan. Like they have a lot of big names that were part of this round that were investing in them. So definitely gives them some credibility and makes them a player in this huge ecosystem that's coming.
Yeah, they can't speak about it. I actually talked to the team directly. I've had conversations with them, but they can't speak about what their artifact partnership is, but they do have something there.
Ooh, all right. Leaks. There we go. Did you hear that from the people that bought Snow Froze piece before it was announced? No? Okay, cool. Oh, we lost. Oh, we got him, boys. All right, moving on. We have some other quick shout outs. So WGMI, this is the portfolio website. They're having an all access pass beta. They're on pre-mint right now. All you have to do is sign up on, follow them on Twitter, join the Discord, have it wallet balance on there. So here is that pre-mint for you. It's there. There's 100 spots, but there's going to be, I think, 6,000 supply for this all access pass, and basically it's going to be this big. I mean, do you know much about this? I mean, I know from here. It shows more information here, but it's not just going to be a portfolio thing. It's going to be a wallet tracker. It's going to be an allow list tracker. It's going to be a lot of these different trackers along with this portfolio thing that comes in this pass. In your eyes, do you think it's something that's worth looking into, or what?
So in a way, they kind of did this a bit backwards, like how most people think about it, right? Like having like an access pass and then having tools or features built on top of that. So they already had their premium like OG WGMI access pass that they airdrop to people who purchase premium way back, right? Like this is one of the OG platforms. So this is all of that plus, like again, like you were saying, the allow listing mechanism themselves, similar to kind of like pre-mint and stuff. And then they have something called a news feed, and news feed is where they really plan to give you a lot of the value that you pay for this pass for. So 0.15 ETH, right? It sounds like a little bit, right? And relative to the mint prices of the projects that have happened lately, 0.15 is a little up there. Not outrageous, it's a little. But they plan to give you that value because they don't want you spending time in Discords and Twitters and all over the place to keep up with your NFT projects. They're literally hiring curators, right? Creators, this content and news creators for each and every major project that's out there to give you exactly what you need to do, and when you need to do it by.
Yeah.
So they're literally paying these people to go out there and sit on these projects and tell you exactly what you need to know to give you some of your time back. So it's not is this portfolio tracker or whatever worth 0.15? It's like, is your time that you get back from these guys by using this worth 0.15?
Yeah, I mean, we're all in. Listen, if you've been in the space long enough, you own tons of projects. You're in tons of Discords, and it's hard to keep track of. You wake up in the morning and there's like 25 notifications, and just ignore them all, clear them out. Yeah, this definitely helps out, and it's something I probably would take advantage of personally, just because it's just keeping track of that. It'd be so easy to just have a news feed like, hey, show me the important stuff for each project. I need to know. Do I need to claim something? Do I need to enter something? Do I need to take any action, or can I just be passive still? Like that's a game changer for me. And it looks like we're having several projects come out to try to have something similar to this as well, right?
Just think about, there's 75 or so Mint Pass 2s for Grails unused, right? And those people, maybe they never check their Discord. They never check anything. If they were to have a tool like this, that kind of like, okay, they prioritize, if I don't check anything else other than WGMI news access, like they would have known that they got that airdrop. And even if they didn't participate, they could have sold that thing for 4 ETH. And yet they let it sit there. It's useless and worthless now, and they missed out. And then they're going to come back in a month. Hey, I missed out on this. Why wasn't I alerted? This could have saved them that.
Yeah.
One more thing just before we get in to the ending part is Metaverse Society. We still have this form available pretty much for, if you're watching this channel, like, I don't even care, share it with your friends, other NFT friends. We have about 18 more spots left for you guys and girls to get like a free pack of beer on us from Metaverse Society. It's going to come with a custom Bored Ape label of ours, and also an allow list opportunity if you want it from Metaverse Society. So that's 18 more spots, first come, first serve. As soon as it hits 50, I'm sending it off to them. So get in while you can. Again, you don't have to pay for anything. It's all free. Worldwide shipping. So be sure to sign up.
How can you turn down a free beer with our apes on it, nonetheless?
You can't.
That's a collector's item. It's gonna be worth what you paid for sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
Which is free. All right, moving on. Another shout out here. We've got Barrel X announced their mint date. I can't remember if we talked about Barrel X on stream before, but Jeremy, give us a rundown of what Barrel X is.
Barrel X, they're pretty much marrying, right, the traditional whiskey manufacturing, like making whiskey with the technology of NFTs. So there becomes like a anti-counterfeit thing, knowing exactly what you're buying and being able to trace the movement and the history of that single barrel across time in the bottles that come from that barrel as well. So if you think about it, the technologies of NFTs and blockchains, they actually coincide with some of these markets like that very well. So whiskey and wine. And Barrel X wants to be kind of the first ones to do that for whiskey. The other twist that they're doing here is that each barrel is kind of going to be identified by like a PFP, and whatever PFP gets randomly used on that, they actually get some of the proceeds from the whiskey barrel, and then they're fractionalizing the barrel. So you're not going to pay for a whole barrel because that price would probably be not crazy, but probably out of reach for like average users. They wouldn't want to buy a whole barrel of whiskey. So they're fractionalizing it into 10 different parts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we may have the founders on for an interview at some point. We're working on that, so stay tuned for that. If we do, we'll announce it on our Twitter. It's one of those unique projects where it's something different, and we always like the types of projects that kind of tie the physical to the digital and NFT world. I'm kind of trying to bridge those gaps.
Yeah, it's we're still in that very early and innovative stage or I wouldn't even say innovative, more like exploratory stage.
Yep.
So what makes sense, what doesn't make sense? Like you said before, not everything needs to be an NFT, but in these places where it makes sense, how can they be applied and make that product better?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another bit of news today: the Origin Stories #3 burn mechanic and minting opened. So if you have Punk's comic, if you're involved in the Pixel Vault ecosystem at all, this may interest you to pay attention to. All you have to do is burn an Origin Stories, and then you'll get an Origin Stories #3 issue back. Also, you can go in and read the new story. I haven't done any of that yet. I don't think I'm going to, but we'll just give it a shout out because Pixel Vault is they're here. They're always going to be here. We'll still talk about them until they're until they're either into the moon or to the dirt. So yeah. All right, and I think that is pretty much it. Yo, Jeremy, any final thoughts, comments for me, for the viewers? What you got?
Well, a little bit of potential alpha. Again, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but I think this is one of the more better opportunities that we've had in a little while. There's a lot of hype behind it, and I'm a little bit hesitant to announce this at the moment just because things aren't working as we want them to be. But I'm going to give you the link, okay? I'm going to give you guys the link.
That's I didn't put it up yet because I know we were still working on the back end. I can put it on the screen if you want me to.
Yeah, you go ahead and put it on the screen. I'm going to share the link, but you can try to register and it's not going to work. And we know it's not working. So just kind of pay attention to our Twitter or the next time we stream. We secured 15 spots for the upcoming project called Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates has kind of been on wildfire pretty much this last month, just gaining all types of attractions and stuff. So, but the thing is, it's only 15 spots. But technically, the amount of you guys that are kind of like loyal to the stream and everything like that, hanging out, always engaging, that should cover a large like majority of you. Yeah. So your chances are still pretty good for the people who are going to know about this. It is for our OG owners, for those who wear the wearables, but it's kind of like, again, the back end is kind of messed up. So the link is not going to work for you. We know, we got your back. We're going to fix it. We'll get you hooked up, but that is coming. So we did want to announce that today so that way you can be on the lookout.
Perfect. Yeah, glad we were able to secure some spots for the viewers. Looking forward to that mint. And that date, the raffle time does happen on August 28th. So once we have it fixed on our side, we will let you guys know. And then then y'all can just full on send it.
Yeah, and we're trying to get Jyoti on for an interview too. She has told me yes that she will come, but I know she's incredibly busy with the upcoming launch. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to fall through. I've talked to her plenty of times, but I want to get her on the stream so that way you guys can get to know her and see her personality and see what, like, again, like she's really charming and like I don't know. It was easy for me to befriend her and talk about her background, her art, all these other like hobbies and like she just puts everything out there and she's very endearing and I can see why she has built up a crazy following and I wanted you guys to get to be able to see that as well.
Cool. Awesome. Definitely good shout out. Anything else you got for us?
I don't think so. I think that was it.
So
Just a reminder, maybe to craft
Yeah.
your 10K TF, like finished items, maybe.
Oh yeah, I did. I ended up using all mine on my apes and mutants and stuff. Instead of selling, I thought about selling them all, but I turned a flamethrower into my OG ape. So
Yeah.
that was fun. It came out really good. I sent them all on a mission. So
Yeah.
we do have. I don't know if should we announce what's happening on Monday? Not yet, or are we still waiting?
Yeah, no, go ahead and announce it.
Yeah, we're having a little quick little impromptu stream on Monday. I guess it's not impromptu if it's scheduled. So we'll be streaming on. A little more casual stream. We're having Corporate Trash. She has been in NFTs for just as long as we have been. She was an OG mentor for apes. We are kind enough to allow a DMT ape on our stream to just come on, and we're just going to talk. It's just a more casual conversation. There's not like a project that's being interviewed for. It's just having her on, talking about NFTs, talking about her journey, just talking about DMT versus cheetahs, and so that'll be fun. So stay tuned to that. I think that's going to be happening at around 3 p.m. Eastern on Monday. We'll put a tweet out, but yeah, definitely tune in just for a fun conversation. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty busy, right? She's a pretty busy person. She'll make her tweets, but not a whole lot of like interaction back and forth. She stays busy for good reasons. So all props to her, but she has made the time to come onto the stream, chill with the boys, chill with the viewers. And so we'd be glad for you guys to be here, make her feel warm and welcome, ask a lot of questions. We do plan on, we don't have our topics like written out. It's going to be super casual, but there is one topic that she's suggested that we should cover at some point, is just about transitioning from a Web 2 job into the Web3 space, whether or not we're employed, whatever, but just making that jump, because actually all three of us are technically going to be like our full-time Web3 in some capacities. So I think that conversation will be really interesting. I can't say good or bad. It should be interesting for you guys to hear.
Right. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I've always, she's one of the good follows on Twitter. That's not going to like try to sell you a scam project. She just kind of tells it as it is. Was there in Top Shot, was there with apes, and been around for a while, just like us. So looking forward to that, and hoping we get some viewers to come in there and interact as well. But yeah, that's all I have. I think that's pretty much it. We're done early today. We're saving everybody a little 12 minutes today instead of, we didn't reach the 2-hour mark. So we will hop off here. Thank you everybody for joining us. Definitely appreciate that. We'll be back here Monday. Unless we have some kind of stream over the weekend. The next time you guys will see us will be on Monday. But until then, as usual, tuck that posture, stay hydrated, drink water, go touch some grass, and that one last thing we like to say, Jeremy, what is that?
As always, be your own alpha.
BYOA, absolutely. Peace. Okay.